Hi guys, I'm Woodcraft Hamster and I thought I'd do the final video for you today on our slightly unusual spoon. So I finished the sanding and it's now all been sanded down to a 320 grit, fairly smooth, couple of little tool marks still in the bowl, and because I'm using this myself, it's not a gift for anybody. I'm not too precious about how well I've sort of sanded it down because it's going to be used in my kitchen by me. So, you know, rustic is absolutely fine. Now what I'm going to do today is just do the final finishing, and normally I would oil this first and then apply a coating of my oil and beeswax finish. But I had someone ask me a little while ago, can you just use the oil and beeswax? And the short answer is I don't know. I've always done oil first, then oil and beeswax, because I know that gives it a little bit of extra protection. But because I'm going to be using this, and if it goes wrong, it's not too much of a loss. I'm going to just give it a try with the oil and beeswax finish by itself. So let me move you just a little bit closer in and I'll show you what it is we're going to do. Right guys, so here we have the leftover oil and beeswax finish that we used recently for our applewood bowl. It's still a little bit soft and squishy in there, and all I'm going to do is heat this, get it to a liquid state, and then I'm going to generously should I say, apply it to the spoon. So if I just get that over here, only going to take a minute or two, if that, just to get it heated. In fact, I can see some liquid forming straight away. That's the benefit of making this stuff up in advance, is it is really easy just to reheat and get it back down into its liquid form. Don't want to overheat it. I mean, you can see there's a lot of sort of steam coming off this already, and actually about half of it is already melted, and that will continue to melt just with the heat that's already in there. So without further ado, again, just taking a nice piece of clean cloth, whatever you've got to hand, and I'm just going to generously start applying this into the bowl. Now it won't soak in as well as oil by itself, which is why I'm doing it quite generously, but it will still form a nice protective barrier against the sort of the cooking greases and the fats and the oils and all the other things that it's going to come into contact with whilst I'm cooking. And because this is 2/3 oil anyway, you know, the wax will give us a nice shiny finish, and hopefully even if I put this in a pan of boiling water, let's say, what I'm hoping is that there'll be enough oil in there to protect the wood from any moisture getting caught in the grain and ruining the spoon. So once this is coated, and it's almost there now, I'm just going to give this 10 minutes to allow everything to soak in and for that wax to set. So it's been about 10 minutes and this is now set, and all I'm going to do is just use a random piece of cloth just to hold it so I don't get myself too smothered in the wax. And as you can see, it's kind of quite a large amount on here, it's quite a bit of it, and I'm just going to use a piece of tissue just to get the excess off. You don't have to do this, but I just find it makes things work slightly easier that way. And once you've got the majority off, and it's starting to look quite nice as it is, I'm going to move over to this, which is just a larger piece of sort of lint-free cloth, and I'm just going to buff this out very quickly. I'll do it on camera just to show you how quickly this can be done. You make sure you get the end grain of the spoon there as well. And then if I swap over, if I can hold that now, it's not going to get any on me. Just move this round to a clean piece of the cloth. Do the inside of the bowl as well. And all this is doing is just buffing out all that excess wax the friction of doing this will ever so slightly heat it. It's not going to be warm to the touch by any means, but it does heat it slightly, helps to sort of spread it a little bit more thinly. And essentially, because you're removing all of that excess, make sure there's no spots that I've missed. So that's pretty much it. And I'll give you a quick close-up on the camera now before I cut the camera angle again. But again, there's no tackiness. There's nothing on here that's going to sort of rub off onto your fingers or anything like that. Right then guys, so we are done. I'll give you a bit of a better view in some slightly better light. So obviously we've had a little bit of a colour change. It's darkened up slightly just because of the oil and the wax. But all in all, I'm really pleased with this. You know, it's a slightly unusual shape. I would normally do something a bit more uniformed, but this was the way the wood wanted to go, so far be it from me to try and change that. And it has come up really, really nicely. You can see inside the bowl there, the two little bits at the bottom, there's a little bit of wax pulled up in there. It's not a problem. Any kind of heat will probably melt that out. I've done my best with a bit of tissue just to get that out. But you know, it's not a problem. It's food safe. It's not going to do you any harm. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. And what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to start using this in my kitchen, just as a kind of general stirring spoon and things like that. And what I might do, a couple of months' time, I'll come back and I'll show you how it's faring up. I may give this another coating between now and when I start using it. Can't quite decide yet. Don't know. I'll have a think about it, but I'll let you know what I decide to do. But anyway guys, I hope it was useful. Again, something like this, although I've spread this over sort of 4 episodes, you know, this probably took, I don't know, a couple of hours maybe for the from sort of blank to finished article. And you know, you can knock one of these up really, really quickly yourself if it's something you want to give a try. You know, you can either take something that's sort of roughly spoon shaped as is, as I did with this, or you can take a nice sort of you know, plain straight grain piece of wood and make your own that way as well. But like I say guys, hope it was useful. As always, comments and questions in the box below. Hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I hope you'll all join me next time. Thanks guys.